most of these ideas in the last 7 weeks. I'll summarise them with I need to think about what I'm doing. That's the key there, what I'm doing. Still very sort of me-centered. I don't want to screw things up. I don't want to blow things up. It's all about what you're doing as the individual mathematician, which is great. And if you're there, I'm already really, really happy. Yes. So once you're there, once you've come from here to here, and you realize, well, if I could do that, then why can't I do that? Why can't I do something more than just talk about me, me, me? What if I want to move up to level 2? This is speaking out to other mathematicians. It's not completely obvious. If you're standing here at level 0, you can't even see the idea of level 2 existing. It's only once you've walked all the way, and this is a very long way to walk. It might only seem like 1.5 meters, but trust me, it's a very long 1.5 meters. Now you're here, you think, oh, hang on. It's not just me here. There's a few people around me. Well, I better tell them something too, shouldn't I? Welcome to level 2, my friend. And it's a great level to be in. Well, sort of.
It's where you are.
It's kind of where I am. Oh, it's worked well for me. So that is, how does the idea of ethics in mathematics spread? So I think I've asked this before. Put your hand up if you've heard about ethics in mathematics before I told you. Or before someone who I told had told you. Sort of one hand goes up, 1.5 hands go up. Out of, what are we, 25? Thereabouts? Okay, so it takes someone to tell mathematicians this. Who's that someone? That's me. That can be you. Because otherwise everyone will sit happily in level 0, going to integration contests and seeing how fast a factorization algorithm they can bandy around. Whose job is it to tell mathematicians this? Who's paid to do this? It's level 2 people's job. It's my job. So, no, I want to go with this. So why is it my job? That's why I'm doing it, but why is it my job?
Why do you lecturers?
I do it because I feel it's important. There's no recruitment process. There's no application form you can fill out. There's no resume to send off. You get to this level, you wake up one morning and you realize, holy shit, I can do something about this. And it's extraordinarily thankless. Really. So mathematicians at this level take it upon themselves. I really mean that. You don't get rewarded for doing this. I mean, okay, so you don't go to hell. But apart from that, you don't get rewarded to do this. Your colleagues don't walk up to you and say, hey, that was a great idea, good show. No. Mathematicians at this level take on this responsibility themselves to raise awareness amongst other mathematicians. I'm not the only one doing this. Might seem like it, but no. 12 months ago, I gave a joint seminar at the Heidelberg Laureate Forum. There's this big meeting in Heidelberg every September. They get 100 PhD students, 100 postdocs, all in math and computer science, and then a whole bunch of old crusty Turing Prize winners, Abel Prize winners, Fields medalists, so very senior. Basically, everyone is either age 20 to 26 or 80 to 96. And there's sort of like a 60-year gap in the middle. No one age 45 is bouncing around there. So this is a work for him. And Martin Hellman, D.V. Hellman Key Exchange Hellman, he proposed a session on ethics in mathematics and computer science. He was also here. He saw this as a problem. And so I got together with him and with a couple of other mathematicians and scientists, there are I think 4 of us in total. And we developed a workshop to present to the PhDs and postdocs. And actually one of the computer scientists I met from that invited me up to Newcastle, the computer science lab, 2 weeks ago, to give a long workshop with his students on ethics in computer science. So there are people who take this upon themselves, this responsibility. There's not many, and it's hard. And Martin Hellman is trying to do this, and he has creds. Okay, he's got a Turing Prize. He encrypted the internet. All right, it's a pretty big name. I've encrypted my emails. I've encrypted my emails. He's encrypted my emails. I mean, and everyone else's. So he's also talking about mutually assured destruction. So this idea that it'll stop nuclear war. If you blow me up, I'll blow you up, so none of us should blow each other up. But it works on an assumption, a simple assumption, which is that you have rational actors at all times controlling the nuclear warheads. I can't think of any world leaders at the moment who control nuclear warheads and are rational actors. I mean, maybe that's what's currently keeping this whole thing afloat, because everyone's batshit crazy, no one's doing anything. So this assumption of, if everyone is acting rationally, then no one blows each other up, this may not hold in the long term. And he's trying to raise awareness of this, that look, eventually someone's going to go, and when that happens, shit will hit the fan. And he's trying to bring the community with him to actually sort of realize this and to act on it, and not just say, well, MAD will keep us safe. So it's not just me, there are a few others. What else can you do at this level too? As you said, you might try and lead some sort of small collectivization of mathematicians and band together and prevent bad actions. It might be somewhere in the place that you work, it might be more broadly across the whole mathematical community. Getting a question? Computer science is 1,000 miles ahead of us. Because they do get a feel for what they're doing. They see it being applied. And they have pressure groups. You have open source organizations, you have hacker groups, people placing pressure on the computer science community to act and behave responsibly. Mathematics has no pressure groups. No one's putting pressure on mathematics. No one's coming up to our doors and saying, hey, what are you doing? Cut that out. That's what the key difference is. Gonna get to that. I got a few more levels up my sleeve. So, once you spend long enough in each level, you realize, oh, hang on, I need to do more. And that's the key observation I keep pushing home. That once you realize that you can go up a level, and once you realize that, and once you spend long enough in a given level, you sort of think, well, I need to do a bit more. It's some sort of great inductive hypothesis. So you have the basis case, which is like step one, and then if I spend long enough, I'll step back another step. This takes time, takes energy. So what else might you do in this second level? Speaking out to other mathematicians. This is the focus at the moment. Or you might give a course. You might sit down and try and write some notes. You might try and get some undergraduate and graduate students in front of you to tell them about this, and some postdocs too, to tell them about what's going on. You might write publicly, which is also what we've done. I hand this out at the end of today. You can produce writings. You might try and write something and put it on an archive. And then you realize that there's no tag for ethics in maths on archive. And so you might email archive, like I did, and say, hey, we need a tag for ethics in maths. And then you wait, and then they respond and say, well, there's a tag for ethics in computer science. And you say, that's fucking fantastic. I want ethics in maths because I'm a mathematician. And they say, okay, how about this tag for ethics in physics? I'm like, you're not listening to me. I'm not a physicist. I'm not going to give you ethics in biology. Great, that's fantastic. I wish them all the best. So you might write something and then try and find somewhere to put it, which is what we're currently doing. We're trying to get archive to make a tag for this. We're trying to produce a journal, so the very early stages at the moment. We're writing for Science News, giving a lecture course, taking on summer students, taking on more summer students, producing small, hopefully interesting and fun videos on this, share around at YouTube, all this sort of stuff to speak out to other mathematicians, to raise awareness in our own community.
Why is it that physicists, biologists, let alone lawyers and medics, have had no trouble, well no, that's not true, no trouble, but have managed to begin the articulation of ethics in their own profession? Lawyers, medics, but more important, chemists, biologists, engineers, physicists. Okay, the physicists lost their virginity in August 1945. We know why. At that point, there's pretty much no physicist alive who was aware of what happened in August 1945. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, that's the dropping of the atomic bomb. Okay, they understood that, physics has ethics. Why is it so hard for mathematicians?
Because with an atomic bomb, you've blown something up. It's pretty big, it's pretty loud, it's pretty obvious, and most people can realize it pretty quickly. Even non-mathematicians can realize it quickly. And so non-physicists can realize that this is a big thing that we can blow. And they can start putting pressure on that group. Chemists, people realize that, you cook something up in the wrong way, it can kill people. So, biologists, okay, we realize that, you're cutting a rabbit in half, maybe you should be a bit nicer about the way you do the rabbits, and things like this. But also non-research work. I mean, the things that biologists are producing can also be a threat to people. People can understand and digest that threat. Process it in their minds. I don't mean literally. So the problem is that so you've got public pressure on these large professions. They screw up and people can see it, people can feel it. When the doctor screws up, you know the doctor screws up. Your arm hurts or is no longer there. Right? Ow, doc, what have you done? So where is that pressure coming from mathematicians? Where is someone coming to the door of mathematicians saying, hey, you fucked up and that hurt me? That pressure is not there. Well, I mean, in the abstract world of mathematics, you're literally not doing anything. As soon as a person picks it up, as soon as a person starts thinking about it, it goes from being an abstract notion to something in a person's mind. And that person has motivations, that person has an agenda, that person has objectives, that person has their own internal understanding, biases, all that goes with everything that's human. As soon as a person picks it up, it loses its shine. We all got dirty fingers.
In fact, the shame doesn't exist. We only hypothesize it because we think about mathematics in a transcendental reality. None of us here, well, none that I know, exist in a transcendental reality. Jan Walensky does, okay? but the rest of us live in this physical world. So as soon as you think about it, you're thinking about it in a building that the government is paying the heating for.
Either that or Renaissance is paying the heating for at the Science Foundation, so just as bad.
Somebody's paying the heating, and therefore they're doing that because of some utility. Oh, I've just got a really fast factorizing algorithm here. I mean, I've just been doing some pure number theory. This is cool, it's abstract. See, I can factorize anything. This 256-digit number. I can factorize it that quickly. Aren't I clever?
So who's paying people to do this absolutely abstract mathematics? Follow the money. Name me an entity that's paying people to do completely abstract mathematics. Okay. There was motivation there at some point. There was so what are the internal interests of the college now? College has its own internal interests, whatever they may be. There's however many colleges, and therefore however many plus one different opinions, because that's how colleges work. So as soon as, and I tried to think of this, even if we set up a scenario where, so do Cambridge colleges only pay mathematicians to do abstract mathematics? Or is there other work that comes with the job? So all of a sudden you're not just doing something abstract. I mean, my students are not abstract. Sometimes they stare into space, but they're not abstract. Maybe the words they hear out of my mouth are abstract, but they're not abstract entities. So I'm dealing with a real, in this case, two living entities. I'm pretty sure they've got a pulse each, and they're listening to me, and I'm telling them stuff. That is not abstract mathematical work. That is me talking to two people. And if I'm talking to two people, I'm telling them something. I'm telling them what I think, and directly or indirectly, what I feel. All of a sudden, it's sort of very less likely that there's anyone who's being genuinely paid just to do abstract mathematics. Something else is always tied to the corner of it. Yes, ballistics, I mean...
I mentioned last week about how that's false, but never mind.
We train way more mathematicians than will come and replace us. Less than 10% of our students who come in 1A are going to be research academics at the end. So while we might be getting some money to do some abstract research on the side, and I claim that there is no such thing as absolutely abstract math that you're doing, a lot of our money and thus time is put towards training new mathematicians. And they go somewhere. And organizations and governments are very happy for them to be these little training institutions, because mathematicians are very efficient people to hire. Hire 5 of us and we can save you the work of 50 people. But our minds still are right. Or 500, 5,000. So, you start to realize that we don't live in the abstract. And that when you follow the money, this notion of, well, I can just do abstract mathematics 24/7, no, there's always something tied to that. My claim is that as soon as you touch it, it gets dirty. And you can't do anything if you're not touching it. As soon as I give you a class on mathematics, I'm starting to choose what I present to you.